Am I the asshole for telling my 32F best friend, 32F, that her dating standards are unrealistic? My best friend, let's call her L, and I have been close for 10-ish years, and during that time, she's been in a couple of relationships but has been single for a few years now. Amongst our friends, L is the only unmarried one. She's made it clear that she's unhappy with being single, sincerely hopes to get into a serious relationship, and get married sooner rather than later. I can understand her frustrations, especially since she's the only single friend, wants kids someday, and so on. About a month ago, Elle told me that she intends to be more proactive with dating this year and asked if I had anyone to introduce her to. Unfortunately, I don't, but another friend mentioned knowing a great guy, who I happen to have met before, who's single and looking for something serious. Elle was introduced, via text, to the guy, and they soon started talking on the phone. Elle says he has a lot of good attributes, e.g. very educated, high salary, but she finds him completely unattractive because they're the same height. He's 5 feet 7 inches and she's 5 feet 7 inches, and because of his darker skin tone. I tried to convince her that his height and looks shouldn't take precedence over his personality, but this soon led to a major revelation on her dating standards that left me completely dumbfounded. Elle told me that she's only interested in men who, in her words, is an 8 or better, looks wise, taller than her when she's wearing heels, of a certain complexion, ideally no beard, has advanced degrees, making over $100,000 per year, doesn't have kids, and is currently attending church every week or every other week. But the big kicker that got me was that she insists that she's unwilling to date a man, like, go out on dates, who won't commit to waiting until marriage for sex. Yes, she's religious but she's not a virine and has had sex in all past relationships. According to Elle, this is a conversation that should be had before even the first date, and if the guy isn't firmly agreeing, it's a no-go. When I challenged her thoughts and logic on this, she got increasingly upset. I told her that I think she's asking for a very tall order, making dating harder than it should be. I'm not saying she should compromise on her religious values, but I am trying to tell her that she should be more open-minded about her criteria because she's looking for a one-in-a-million guy, while also prematurely shutting down and shutting out some potentially great guys because of their income and/or height. Elle is now furious at me and says I'm not being a supportive friend. She says that I don't understand her faith and am being something of a Debbie Downer. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Her criteria are unrealistic, but there's no use in telling her that. I'd say if she's serious about waiting for marriage, then she needs to drop all the other criteria and only talk to men at church. If she's using it as a filter tool, it's set too high. My wife and I met on Match back in 2007. We were both divorced parents. On the second date, she explained her 6th date rule. I had no problem with that. We hit it off obviously, and by date 4 we were recategorizing visits as dates. Later she told me about her year of first dates, where she went on a bunch of first dates with guys who she either wasn't interested in, or who lost interest in her over the 6th date rule. Not the asshole. Just nod and smile at her and reassure her with, I have no idea why you're still single. Not the asshole. I'm a man, a regular dude. I pay for all my own stuff, support my family, and generally try to treat everyone I meet with respect and dignity. She is asking too much. Her standards are astronomically high. Her dating pool might be 1% of men in the US alone. In your area it could be 0.01% of men. She's simply not going to find what she's looking for. Period. If she doesn't alter her high standards, she will live her life alone and be miserable. Not the asshole. How shallow of her. Oh, and racist. And with ridiculous height standards. She's awful. Not the asshole. She might as well become a nun and join a convent because she's never going to find a guy with all of these crazy standards and requirements. Not the asshole, but you seem to not be acknowledging that she's racist. Why? And because of his darker skin tone. Of a certain complexion. Why are you friends with a racist? Am I the asshole for holding a grudge years later after I am called a cancer? A little background, I 43F live with my husband 45 meters, his parents 70 and F. We bought a house together almost 20 years ago as I grew up in a multi-generational household. My father-in-law was disabled and couldn't work but watched our 2 kids, now 23M and 22F. We also have a now 14M. This worked for us. Yeah, we had our differences but we always could work them out. In 2016 I got really sick. I mean hospitalized multiple times for 4 or 5 days at a time. I tried to work when I could but ultimately was diagnosed with a degenerative disease and went on disability. I would live my life with a minimum 4 or 5 on the pain scale daily and would spike to 9s regularly. I was in bed most of the time, needed help showering, and couldn't stand long enough to cook. During this time our family was really supportive. They understood our lives had to change. It wasn't until recently I was able to get a treatment for my illness. When I was finally able to have surgery after the hospitals opened after COVID, our youngest son, 10M at the time, stayed with my brother-in-law, 46M, and sister-in-law, 45F, for a month while I recovered. I had to have a feeding tube and my mother-in-law worked and couldn't help, and father-in-law was at my brother-in-law most days. Our son is borderline autistic C and take a lot of care when it comes to school. Our oldest son was in high school and dropped out later that year. We told him he could pay his rent or move out. He chose to move in with my brother-in-law and Sil. This is where it all goes downhill. My brother-in-law comes over the week my son is moving and tells my husband he wants to talk to him where I can't hear. My husband is my best friend and doesn't keep secrets so they can talk right there. He told my husband that I was a cancer on the family. I didn't work and I was addicted to painkillers. Since marrying me, my husband is no longer a man. At this point my husband has my back and they get into a shouting match. I was upset and couldn't handle this. I left and went to my parents. We went no contact with them for over a year. Now keep in mind we live in the same town and my father-in-law does childcare for brother-in-law as well. The next year we got an apology. We now interact with them again, but every time we see them I get upset and I leave as soon as I can. Am I the asshole for not being able to get over this? Not the asshole. I'm also disabled and cannot work, and one of my biggest fears is that I'm a burden to my loved ones. To be told that you're a cancer to the family and that your husband isn't a man because he's taking care of you is a horrible thing. I'm so sorry that your brother-in-law said that. Unless it was the best apology in the world and he has made it clear with his actions that he doesn't think this way anymore, it makes a lot of sense to feel uncomfortable around him. I hope the rest of your husband's family and your own family have been supportive of you. It sounds to me like someone is telling your brother-in-law lies. I suspect it is your son. I suspect he feels disgruntled, having felt he has been either thrown out or forced to pay rent. Whilst I completely get the rent situation, as I had to pay it myself at 18, I suspect this may have ended a relationship you may have had with your child. I also wonder, because the kids couldn't do anything with you for the past 8 years, they don't see you as a parent, but as a burden? As they lost their bond with you. You're completely down for a multi-generational household, but kicked your kid out as soon as he was 18? The fuck? Team missing reasons here. I'd love to hear from an independent observer in situations like this. The week your minor son who dropped out of high school and then was kicked out of his childhood home is moving in with your bill, your brother-in-law comes over and says some pretty mean things about you. Well, color me surprised. I'd like to hear your son's side of the story. Info. It sounds like your children were dealing with a lot. Why did your oldest son drop out? Did you get him the mental health support he needed? You're young enough to know it's almost impossible to get a job without a high school diploma, and how difficult it is to find any job even with qualifications now. Did you offer to help him get a GED? Am I the asshole for not doing laundry? Am I the asshole? Mike, 27 male, husband, and I, 26 female, have been living together for about 3 years. We have always had a basket in the bathroom for dirty laundry. The entire time we've been living together I'm the one who has always done laundry. When the basket gets full I take it to the laundry room and wash everything that's in it. For the past several months my husband has started leaving his dirty clothes mostly in a pile in the floor in the bedroom instead of putting them in the basket. We've had conversations about this several times and he says he'll make sure to start putting his clothes in the basket, but nothing has really changed. This morning he made a comment about how he has to go to work in dirty clothes, including dirty socks and underwear. I didn't say anything because I've washed the clothes in the basket and was caught up on laundry. Then he asks me if I could wash his clothes for him so he doesn't have to go to work in dirty clothes. I told him that I'll wash his clothes when he puts them in the basket. He got mad and said I was petty for not washing his laundry and that he doesn't understand why I can't take 30 more seconds to pick up all his clothes off the floor and wash them. I told him that if it was so easy then why couldn't he take 30 seconds to pick them up and do it, and that I wasn't his mom and I'm not picking up his dirty clothes off the floor when there's a basket. According to him I'm a petty asshole and don't do anything for him because I refuse to pick up his clothes from the floor to wash them. Am I the asshole for not picking up his clothes? Not the asshole. Everyone knows that the floor is for laundry that might in fact be reworn. It is time for your husband to start doing his laundry. And yours, honestly. Have him read, You Should Have Asked, a very easy to read webcomic on the subject of the mental load. Hopefully he gets the message. Hold your ground on require that he step up as a partner and doesn't end up as a child you need to take care of. Not the asshole. Get him his own laundry basket. You each do your own laundry. I'm not your mother, is your only answer. Not the asshole. Tell your husband that weaponized incompetence isn't a good look on him. You asked him more than once to out his dirty laundry in the basket. He continues to leave it on the bedroom floor. There's only one asshole here and it isn't you. Not the asshole. His response alone shows that you need to stop doing his laundry altogether. The only person responsible for him going to work in dirty clothes is himself. Your husband needs to grow up. Not the asshole. You're not his mother or his maid. Not the asshole. Do your own laundry. Forget about his. He doesn't realize that if you don't want someone to realize that they are having to do more work, the easiest way to hide it is to make it easier for the other person to do the work. Putting clothes into a laundry hamper is a whole lot less work than folding or hanging up the clothes after washing them. Am I the asshole for not letting my brother's girlfriend in the family? Every year, for my birthday party, I always have a very specific dress code to make for cool photos. My family also usually uses a photo from this party as our Christmas card. For this year, I said I wanted my guests to wear black, my close friends and family to wear white, me myself was going to wear red. For context, I have 3 brothers. I obviously invited all of these brothers and their wives and girlfriends to the party. Now, my eldest brother is married to his wife for almost 5 years and they have 2 kids together. Although I'm not close to my sister-in-law because her and my brother live a few hours away and I haven't spent much time with her, she's always been very nice and is obviously a part of the family as she is married to my brother. Because of this, even though we're not close, she was obviously going to be wearing white. My other brother is not married but he is bringing his new girlfriend who we will call Anna. Her and I were roommates in college and she is one of my closest friends, and I was beyond thrilled when her and my brother started dating because I was excited at the possibility of having her as a sister. My last brother has been dating a girl for about 3 years now. His girlfriend, let's call her Sarah, wasn't expecting to wear white until she found out Anna was going to be wearing white. Sarah confronted me about this and started telling at me, enraged that Anna was wearing white even though she'd only been with my brother for a few months while Sarah was dating my other brother for many years. I calmly explained to Sarah that I understand why she's feeling this was but that Anna was not going to be in the family picture that would end up on our Christmas card but was only wearing white as one of my closest friends. Sarah was still mad and demanded to be wearing white, even when I explained this to her. My brother angrily called me and told me that he and Sarah wouldn't be attending unless Sarah was wearing white. I laughed it off because I didn't think it was that big of a deal, and ignored my brother's requests because I was frankly getting mad at this point. It's my party and I should be able to choose, right? The day of the party, Sarah showed up, wearing white, and demanded to be part of the family photos that will end up on the Christmas card. My parents are super traditional and explained to her that she wouldn't be on the Christmas card until she's engaged to my brother. Sarah threw a hissy fit at the party and started crying after a conversation with me, making it out to be like I bullied her in some way. Looking back, I feel I overreacted over the white and should have just let her wear it because I honestly don't even care that much, but I still think it was rude of her to show up in white anyway. Am I the asshole? Update. Hi, I'm back with an update, and I'm really struggling to process everything that's happened. I know I messed up in the past, and I genuinely tried to make things right. Sarah felt excluded from the family photo and, to be honest, I didn't handle her feelings well. I was frustrated, but after some reflection and reading through your comments, I realized that I hadn't been as considerate of her feelings as I could have been. I thought I had gone too far, and I felt like I should apologize. So, I called Sarah. I told her that I was truly sorry for making her feel left out. I explained that I never meant to hurt her or make her feel excluded and that I should have communicated better. I really wanted to fix things because I didn't want the tension between us to stay. I let her know that if I ever made her feel that way again, she should just come to me, and I'd do my best to make it right. She seemed to accept my apology. She said she understood where I was coming from and that she appreciated me reaching out. She even apologized for the way she'd reacted. It felt like a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders. I thought maybe this was the start of rebuilding a healthier relationship. Afterward, I wanted to show her that I wasn't just saying things to make peace but that I was genuinely trying to include her. So, I took a suggestion from one of the comments and I just booked a family photo shoot with the photographer we've used in the past, and I invited Sarah to join us. I told her that I'd love for her to be part of the photos because I wanted her to feel welcomed, and I wanted to include her as part of the family. I thought this would be a nice gesture, showing her that I was serious about making things better. Sarah seemed grateful for the invitation. She said she appreciated it and looked forward to being included. I thought, okay, we're getting past this. I really felt like I was doing the right thing, making up for the tension, and trying to mend the rift between us. However, one of my friends brought to my attention that Sarah posted something on her story along the lines of that some people fought her to keep her away, which I ignored because it could be about anyone. Then she made another story where she talked about how she had to fulfill an obligation for her so's family because they asked her and she couldn't back out, clearly referencing the Photoshop. She even commented on one of Anna's posts from the part saying that Anna's lucky she has it so easy. Now, my family takes a vacation every year in the spring, and Sarah has come with us for the past few years. My parents pay for her like they pay for my other siblings, my Sil, and my nieces and nephews. I just found out from my dad that she called my mom and told her she will only go on the vacation if I'm not there and demanded to be seated in business class. Usually, everyone sits in business class because while our parents pay for the ticket the rest of us pay for the upgrade. My parents only purchase business class tickets for themselves. My mom said she and my brother could sit in business class if she paid for the upgrade like the rest of us do. My mom also explained to her that she understood that she had a problem with me, but since my parents were paying for the trip they would decide who was coming. Now she's posting some other crap on the story about how she's unappreciated and how she's treated unfairly. I know I hurt her, and I know it will take more than a phone call and a photo shoot to fix it, but I was prepared to do that. I wish she had come to me instead of staging all of this drama. I'm more shocked she did all of this in a span of a few hours. From the party ending, to me calling and apologizing, to her doing all of this. I think it's unfair how she's been acting, especially involving her behavior towards Anna who did nothing towards her. Am I still doing something wrong because I clearly don't know when I'm acting like a BTCH, or is it actually her fault this time? I know she needs time to recover, but I don't think this was an appropriate way to act. Update. I messaged my brother, and he agreed she was overreacting a little but explained things from her POV. There has been a rift between my family and her from a while, and I think the issue is no one has tried to bridge it. My brother suggested the three of us meet in a cafe and then he will call the family to arrange a dinner where we can all talk it out, and I can make a public apology to Sarah. I also have reached out to my friends to make sure they're not hurt by the color thing. I didn't think it would be hurtful, and it wasn't my intention to hurt anybody, but I'm just going to make sure. Also to clarify, since many people have said this party was a one-time thing, lol. Last year's theme was nautical, this year we did colors because I thought it would be cool. The better approach was to have randomly assigned people what color to wear or have had people just pick between white or black. Sarah called me to talk things out, and said she was excited for the photo shoot. The only catch is that she doesn't want me or Anna to be in it. Anna knows about it but wasn't planning to come to protect Sarah's feelings, but I feel strange that Sarah would actually say this. While I'm willing to do this for the sake of my family, I don't want to just be a pushover because I think this is taking things too far. My brother was upset she would make such a demand, but I'm hoping to talk things out at the cafe tomorrow. Everyone sucks here, but don't let that distract you from the fact that you started it. For this year, I said I wanted my guests to wear black, my close friends and family to wear white, me myself was going to wear red. Why do you want to color code people according to how much they matter to you? That was bound to hurt feelings at some point. Can't you have a theme that doesn't create a hierarchy? You are the asshole emo. By segregating your guests by importance, I believe you have set it up for hurt feelings and drama. If only family members will be in your photos, why care what colors the other guests wear? Have everyone wear white, red, or black if you want a color scheme. But separating people by colors is just asking for trouble. You are the asshole. You really do want to be the center of attention on the Christmas card, don't you? Look at me, I'm wearing red. It's one thing to create a theme, it's another to dictate the exact color that each person wears. You sound insufferable. Mostly you. She's been in the family for years and she's not allowed to wear that special family color, yet the barely girlfriend of a few months gets to wear it. Yeah, that shit hurts. You're an asshole for starting all of this. Her for throwing a fit. I just wouldn't go, personally. She knows where she stands in the family now. If you must have different colors, then have the men wear black and the women wear white, and the kids a different color, or all of you wear the same and your parents different. You are the asshole. A very weird power play. Color coding your guests is weird. Being the only one in red for the Christmas card feels weird too. 3 years is a significant relationship and you were very dismissive of that. Feels icky all around. You are the asshole. It's so laughable that you don't see it. You're creating a theme based on how much someone means to you at your party. Like, why even invite people if they aren't your close friends and family? What is this, a scene from Mean Girls, or a desperate ego boost? 'Cause either way, you're the asshole, and I think you should ditch these self-absorbed parties for a theme everyone can enjoy because no one is excluded.